And good morning, YouTube fans. Admiral Preparedness here. I hope you're having a beautiful Saturday. Got a couple things here I want to talk about today, when it concerns this emergency preparedness. The things you see out there on the open marketplace are very nice to own, to have in ready reserve. You've seen all of the standard marketing techniques to get you to buy things that you think you're going to need during a emergency situation. Uh, What we have here is a good example of something from the space age developed by NASA during the 1960s in their race to the moon against the Soviet Union. These emergency blankets, I got to tell you, folks, you just look around, you'll find them very inexpensive, under $1. This one here is an example of that. This other company puts out a similar product for about $2.99. And then another innovative company came out with a sleeping bag version, which completely covers your body and allows that thermal energy that your body emits to be bounced back to your body. These guys here are excellent. They're small and compact. Once you've opened them up, though, good luck trying to get them back in that bag. It's going to take a little finesse. They are for emergency use only, so they're not for everyday use. Uh, You're sitting out in the car, just like what's going on out west right now in the heartland of America. And my heart goes for these folks because it's like the 10-year flood or the 100-year drought or whatever. But they're sitting right now in a cold chill. It is winter, so we have to think common sense stuff. So the items you want to think about keeping in your car. Another example of something innovative that's been around for just a few years are these heating devices. What these use are the chemical breakdown when oxygen is exposed to the material. They are a one-time deal. But I found something out there during my research that I really like. They're called hot snaps. These are reusable. They can be used over and over and over again. You read your manufacturing instructions. There's a little disc in here, and when that disc is activated, it basically causes a reaction to occur that these guys now stay warm. Then when you're done, when they're expended, you place them in a microwave and they will be rejuvenated. Great item to own. Of course, when it comes to emergency preparedness, there's always going to have to be a need for fresh water. These two items here, I just like to show you an example of different manufacturers that have used the patent process to modify an item to keep them out of patent court. Exactly the same item, exactly the same. I mean, the same concept of the hose, the pipe, the extruding device, the filter element. The only thing's different. The only thing's different is the color of the unit. That's it. The same filter element, style. It's almost the same. I wouldn't doubt if somebody went, hey, let me just change the manufacturing process by one item. I bet you I could beat the patent. Now, the problem is, these guys may have jumped on the bandwagon, made in America, of course. I'd love to see that. This one here is also made in the USA. Uh, my curiosity is, it's the same company. Now, when you look at the name, you say, well, wait a second. Why would you? I don't get it. You're the same company, the exact same company. So what were you doing? Was this your prototype? Was this your first marketing version, and then you finally found a manufacturer packaging who'd be willing to securely be able to place this on a retail shelf versus somebody here who would come along, even though it's not, there's nothing here to prevent it from being stolen, nothing to prevent it from being put in a pocket and carried out of a establishment. So you got to kind of wonder, what were you thinking? But the prices are about 10% different. This is cost less, this costs more. Of course, we know why, right? So when you're out there as a consumer and you're looking for things that you need, take a look at the patent, If it's got a patent, you can do. You don't buy. Some things we want you to buy. We want you to buy. But use your common sense when you're out there shopping. If there's something out there that looks questionable, even though it's the same manufacturer, just different packaging. Also, when you're out there, there's always you want to have your water purification tablets. These guys have been around since before World War II, and maybe years before that. Uh, these guys are great. They'll go anywhere and they'll purify any kind of water up to a certain point. Your teeth are something you need to take care of in emergencies also. This is what's called an emergency dental kit. It comes with everything you need to take care of your dental. You've got your different containers, you've got your different materials, your temporary filling. You get a couple of those to make sure that you're going to be able to fill the dental hole. Gives you plenty of instructions. It gives you a package of gauze, a mixing bowl, some of the material used to harden, that's meant for your mouth, dental wax, and a small stirring brush or toothpick, however you want to decide to do it. It has your checklist, a reorder form, and so you can actually pay $1.25 for shipping. Prices are very inexpensive to get the material replaced. Go out there and talk to your dentist. If they recommend a specific company, you can also do that also. I would recommend that you use some plastic gloves or some gloves that you can use, but take these out and look at them. Don't just throw them away or stick them in an emergency bug out kit, and when the emergency comes you don't know how to use it. So take it out, familiarize yourself with everything. I would suggest even practicing if you can afford to practice. Why not? You never want to be unprepared. Sometimes you're going to find out that you found yourself stuck in the middle of nowhere and you've never looked at these instructions, you've never reviewed anything, and now you find yourself in great need of knowing how to do it. And that's embarrassing for you, and it's going to be embarrassing for the individual who you're trying to help, or even yourself, or the moment when you think you're going to need something and you find out that, well, I messed up. Now I'm stuck trying to get past this moment in my time, and now it's a little bit serious, and now you're finding yourself wasting the material through frustration because you didn't know how to package it. You didn't know how to go back and put it back in somebody's face. We know that this new mosquito, Zika, has raised its ugly head and found its way in the United States, which I was not, believe me, I was not surprised, because we travel by air nowadays, that something can come across imaginary lines and it's now in your home or in your homeland. Mosquito netting, highly recommend it, because when you're out there and you've got to get the heck out, what would be the worst thing to be brought down by an insect? Man has been around for forever, and we all know that the vulnerabilities of the human body. So let's not help it along a little bit. You want to get yourself some mosquito netting. I've got several packages of these guys that I keep in different locations, so I can be safe to know that during the nighttime period, or when these animals or these insects are out at their most dawn and dusk, to cover up, to make sure we don't get eat up by the little critters. Now these guys here have been recently added to the marketplace. You can find several different companies that make them. You can make these yourself, people. Go out there and do your studies on the internet. Look up the places to go. Buy the different items you need in bulk and make your own. These sell for $5.95. They're not very expensive at all. Here's another thing: lighting at night. That's most important. Being able to see at night. These are two different companies, just to give you an example of what's out there in the marketplace. Of course, they do take batteries, which is their Achilles heel. Just make sure that you're able to store up rechargeables. If you get those, there's all kinds of different websites out there where you can find those solar rechargeable battery kits where you can put the battery in. That's nickel metal hydride. Lithium-ion batteries are starting to enter their way into the marketplace, which have a very, very long storage life, and but they still are not rechargeable. You have to find the kind that are rechargeable. These guys here, uh, they do take different types of batteries. These guys here take a different type of battery. The button cells, they call them. Those puppies can last a pretty long time. Sometimes you can actually take a battery apart and it's filled for these little button batteries. So look out there on the internet for locations where it'll show you how to disassemble a battery to get the button batteries out. That's another good example of a few things that I'll cover over the next few periods. But I wanted to get you guys kind of get your taste buds used to what I'm going to start showing you here. What's out there for you to use in emergency situations. These guys, I wouldn't recommend putting them in an automobile because they are plastic and the heat cycling can destroy the mechanics. If you could put these someplace where you're going to be able to grab them easily, where you put your keys, have a set of headsets around, put them in the drawers around your kitchen. If you got a workshop, definitely have them handy where you can grab them. I've asked people, what would you do? Well, I put them with my tents. I put them with the sleeping bags. You know, they're small, compact. They don't have to be in the manufacturer's protection of the packaging. That's for retail, wholesale retail use, so they cannot be stolen very easily. But I've come across some pretty skeezy people. They'll stand there with a pair of scissors in a grocery store or department store and hack away the material. And the next thing you know, they've got them in their pocket walking out the door. All the while, the security device is still implanted inside the packaging material. Uh, you know, when we one of our Navy sayings is the ocean's big and blue, and thieves don't know how to swim very much. So if you're a thief and you're caught and you're in the sea service, you might find yourself treading water late at night. And so don't be a thief. Of course, you know, in boot camp, they told us keep your stuff locked up, not to tempt that thief. But once again, if they want it, they're going to try to get it. And you're for your own protection. You don't want to broadcast what you've got out there. But that's why I said if you want to hide this kind of stuff in plain sight, hide it with the tent, hide it with the sleeping bag, roll it up with the sleeping bag, roll it up with the tent. Add a few bags of batteries to go with it. Uh, you know, even though you may become incapacitated somewhere down the line, like that's my biggest fear right now. What you have to know is always be prepared is a common thing that your family is going to get used to hearing when you come out of your mouth. And every time that you say, honey, I want to do something, or a young man or young lady, for your kids, if you see these things in the house, you know, they're for our own protection, for our own security, they're for our own use. You know, keep your mouth shut and don't let your friends and neighbors know you've got this stuff. And hopefully, when the time comes, you're not finding yourself in a bad situation where you went to go put it away someplace, you went to go find it, and guess what? Your daughter, your son, or your grandma, or your uncle, or whoever found it and decided to go ahead and take advantage of a situation and harvest it themselves. I always, like I said, I'm a pretty good person. I'm a terrible judge of character, and I'm a terrible judge of persons. But I tell you one thing though, if when the old saying is if and or when, could you shoulda woulda, or coulda shoulda woulda, if or and when. You know, there's a whole dictionary full of things you could say. I'm just trying to get the point across that when you walk by my village or my neck of the woods, or I'm not going to welcome you with open arms. I'm going to be hesitant with one side, handle it on my sidearm, and the other on a trusted individual who I know won't stab me in the back late at night. But that takes up your community, that takes up the portions of your neighborhood. If you like the idea where the wagons would circle around, and then you would find a circle inside of a circle inside of a circle. That's your battle. Your battle plan is to surround yourself with trusted-minded, like-minded individuals who are going to look out for you, and you're going to look out for them. When it comes to a nighttime watch, you're up and ready to go 10 or 15 minutes before that individual gets relieved, giving him that trusted knowledge that you're not going to be the first one to catch a nap while you're out there supposed to be having your eyeballs open at night or during the day. You're not being distracted by, a squirrel and somebody gets through your line of defense. Uh, the early Americans or the early settlers knew that the natives or the indigenous species that were there before they tramped upon their land didn't appreciate their occupying their sacred territory and would occasionally become distraught and attack them at night. They were the best. They were the best force for warfare to learn from. We took their notes and studied them and understood that guerrilla